Have you ever stared at a government form and just wondered, where did this even come from? Well, it's not as simple as you might think. There's this whole hidden world of rules, reviews, and gatekeepers that stands between an agency's idea and that submit button on your screen. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the secret life of government paperwork and get to know the powerful law designed to protect you from it, the Paperwork Reduction Act. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to meet the law that's supposed to tame the paperwork dragon. Then we'll learn the lingo of this whole quest. After that, we'll follow a form through its pretty intense approval gauntlet, meet the actual people who control the process, and, this is the cool part, find out how you can actually have a say in it. And finally, we'll talk about why this whole thing really matters.
All right, let's dive in. We've all been there, right? Staring down a mountain of forms. It can feel like this unstoppable force of nature. But it turns out there's a shield in place designed to protect us.
Yeah, that feeling. Whether you're applying for a license, a benefit, or just filling out some survey, that sense of being overwhelmed by question after question is just so frustrating. It's a totally universal feeling, and it's exactly what lawmakers were trying to fix. And here's the thing, the goal of this law isn't just to make you fill out fewer forms. It's actually a really delicate balancing act. On one side, it's about respecting your time by cutting down on the paperwork burden. But on the other, it's about making sure the information the government does end up collecting is actually useful and high quality. So this is the key. The Paperwork Reduction Act, or the PRA for short, isn't just a friendly suggestion. It's the law. It actually forces federal agencies to justify why they need your information. And they have to get formal approval from a central authority, the Office of Management and Budget, or OMB, before they can even start asking. Okay, so to really get how this process works, we need to speak the language. The PRA has its own special vocabulary, and if you can get a handle on these next two key terms, everything else is going to click right into place. First up, we have the collection of information, or COI. The easiest way to think about this is that it's the what. It's the actual data the agency is trying to get. Doesn't matter if it's a paper form, a survey on a website, or even a script for a phone call. If an agency is asking you for facts or your opinions, that's a collection of information. But, and this is a really important detail, not every single request for information triggers the PRA. For it to count as a COI, it has to hit 3 specific conditions. It's got to come from an agency, it has to use the same questions for everyone, and it has to go out to 10 or more people. Now, check this out. There's a fascinating little exception. If the request goes to pretty much an entire industry, the PRA can kick in even with fewer than 10 people. So, if the COI is the what, then the information collection request, or ICR, is the how. This is the official application, the whole package the agency puts together. It's this super detailed justification they send over to the OMB that explains exactly why they need the info, and, most importantly, it estimates the burden it's going to place on you, the public, in both time and money. So how do all these pieces fit together? Now that we know the lingo, we can follow an ICR on its journey. And let me tell you, this is no simple rubber stamp process. It's a multi-stage challenge we're calling the approval gauntlet. It all kicks off when an agency decides, hey, we need some information. Right away, economists jump in and start analyzing, calculating everything. How many people will have to respond? How long will it take them? And what is that time actually worth in dollars and cents? All of that gets bundled into the formal ICR package and sent to OMB for review. And it lands on the desk of this surprisingly powerful little office called OIRA. That's the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs. They're the White House's central authority for reviewing all major government regulations, which is why they are the final judge on paperwork, too. If IRA likes what they see, they grant approval and assign the form an official OMB control number. You know, it's easy to think of this gauntlet as just some faceless automated system, but it's not. There are real people with very specific jobs who act as the gatekeepers, making sure the process is followed every single step of the way. First, you've got the project economist. You can think of them as the defender of the public's time. Their whole mission is to calculate that burden estimate we just talked about. Then you have the PRA coordinator, who's basically the project manager for the paperwork, guiding the entire ICR package through all the complicated steps. And finally, you have OIRA, the team at OMB. They are the ultimate judge and jury with the final power to approve or deny the whole thing. So where do you fit into this whole picture? Well, believe it or not, the public is actually designed to be a really important part of this process. There are dedicated windows of opportunity for you to make your voice heard. Your first shot is a 60-day comment period. An agency has to publish something called a Federal Register Notice, which is basically a public announcement saying they intend to collect information. This is your chance to take a look at what they're planning and give feedback on whether it's necessary, if it's clear, or if it seems way too burdensome. Then, after the agency submits its formal ICR package to the OMB, a second notice goes out, and that opens up another 30-day comment period. And this is where you can really see the system's checks and balances at work. The OMB usually won't even make a decision on the request until this second comment period is over, and the agency has actually responded to the public's feedback. So, after all of that, the lingo, the gauntlet, the gatekeepers, we finally get to the end of the quest. What's the final reward for all this effort? Well, an approval isn't forever. A standard OMB approval for a collection of information only lasts for 3 years. Once those 3 years are up, the agency has to go through the whole process all over again to justify why they still need the information. This built-in expiration date is crucial because it ensures that forms don't just become zombies, living on forever without anyone checking if they're still needed. Ultimately, when you get down to it, the Paperwork Reduction Act is this whole complex system of checks and balances. It's a constant negotiation between the government's need to know things and your right not to be buried in paperwork. The big question is it working? The next time a government form asks for your time, look for that OMB control number and ask yourself, are they getting the balance right? Thanks for joining.